Hi everybody, how you doing there? If you're from, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So do have another review here for you. It's going to be for Disney's Lilo and Stitch for 2025. So it's my second Disney adaptation. So if you watched my last video on my Snow White review, um, I said in that video I actively avoided uh, the Disney live action remakes because a lot of the live action adaptations they did was just some of my favorite Disney classics. Um, so over the years I just kind of actively avoided these movies. But so I have an idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, watch all the I'll review all the Disney remakes too. So I'll go back because normally I try not to do movies that are too far back because that's a lot of movies to watch. I got a lot of present day movies to watch as well too. But I was thinking about doing something like that, going back and watching all the Disney live action remakes and then reviewing them and tell you what I thought about them. But so we got the new Lilo and Stitch 2025 uh, from the it's a live action adaptation of the 2002 animated film, which I didn't know Lilo and Stitch was that old. Um, I think I remember seeing Lilo and Stitch a little bit after it came out. Was it like 2003? And I saw it a few times in 2004 or whatever. And just over time, I kept watching it. It's one of my favorite Disney films. And with Disney doing all these live action remakes, so it was kind of like, I don't know about this one. I don't know about any of these. So, like I said, I've actively avoided them. So, but this is Lilo and Stitch, live action film, directed by Dean Flesher Camp. I don't know who that director is, so but so I'm not gonna sit here and attempt like I know his movies. Uh, well, it didn't like it really did much. So you got Sydney Elizabeth Gudong. I'm sorry for messing her name up. I believe she plays Lilo. Um, you got I'm just gonna call fun here. So you got Sid or Courtney B. Vance is in here. Zach Galifianakis uh, stars in here also. So you basically have and Chris Sanders, I believe, does the voice of Stitch. So yeah, again, you have this live action Disney version of Lilo and Stitch. If you've seen the original, which you probably should have at this point, uh, this about a young girl, Lilo. This takes place in Hawaii, and it's about a young girl who she basically doesn't have any friends. People bully her or whatever, in her hula class, things of that nature. On top of that, she's got an older sister. She's struggling. They lost their parents, and she had to basically step up and become an adult. Her older sister, uh, I can't remember the actress who played her sister. Um, and then you have Chrissy, or you have what's her name? I think her name is Tia Carrera, who plays the caseworker, and you know she's checking in on her, make sure her older sister is able to to take care of her sister, handle the bills, handle the groceries, basically everything. And for such a young girl, all this stuff is piling on her or whatever. So one night, Lilo, she wishes for a friend, uh, and then that's when you have Stitch come into the picture. So like I said, if you've seen the movie already, um, if you've seen the original classic, you basically know what's going on here. Um, this is essentially a straight shot for shot remake. they make there are some changes in here, not too many changes. So and then I, hearing some of the bad stigma behind the Disney films, especially the live action remakes, I was already on the fence before I even started watching this movie because I wasn't really sure what to think. And I will say one thing: I thought the acting was really good in this. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked. I was pleasantly surprised. The CG on the on Stitch and the aliens, I thought was really good. I thought the CG was very good in this. Because I mean, they're animated, so Disney has to do it up. It's a combination of like animation mixed with live action, and I thought it translated really well, especially the people who have to act against like these CG images or whatever. I thought that was really well done as well too. Uh, the older sister, great actress. I thought everybody in here was good. Um, and then you have the stuff with Zach Galifianakis, and I think his name was Billy Magnuson. Billy Magnuson. Um, they play the two aliens, and when they come down to Earth, they're like the comic relief. They was like that in the original too, so they were the comic relief in that. They just give them a little bit more shenanigans to do in here, which I wasn't I wasn't I didn't think it was that funny, like their comedy, but I was like, it is, this was in the original, so whatever. Uh and I just really like how like I said, I was really pleasantly surprised with how well this translated to live action. Um but I will say one thing about this movie. Uh well, it says right there, Tia Carrera. Yeah, Tia Carrera. Um and I honestly I think what works here is the drama. When they get the drama and the heart right to this movie, like the original had, I think they get it right and it works. Uh, some of the stuff in between, I was kind of like, this could do without this, whatever. They didn't do too many changes from the original film, but they made like subtle changes, and I think in some ways it did. Those subtle changes did work in this movie. Um, if there's like I said, now the things I didn't really care for in this was at the end of the day, like I said, it's a shot for shot remake. Um, if you've seen the original Lilo and Stitch like I have, it you the original Lilo and Stitch was already a good movie. Okay, it was already a good movie. So I mean, you'll if you haven't seen the original or you haven't seen it in a while, um, this will be fresh for you. I think this will be good for people who haven't seen it, um, or people who haven't watched it or anything like that, or even for your kids. If your kids, 2002 was what 24 years ago now, so it's a long time ago. Like a lot of your kids probably weren't even born back then. So no, I think this movie is really good. This is definitely way better than the Snow White remake. Far better. Yeah, like I said, I think they just if it's my complaint, it's just a direct translation of the animated version. So again, if you want to take your kids to watch this, it won't hurt to show it to them, or you can just show them the original one. Whichever one works for you. Uh, but out of the Disney remakes, I think this is probably my favorite one so far. Like I said, I need to dig back and watch the other ones too. But so far, Lilo and Stitch is probably my favorite. So for that, I am going to I'm going to go. I was a little back and forth with this one. I am going to give this one solid. I'm gonna give it a solid recommend because even when the ending hit, because it's the same ending as, like I said, it's beat for beat, shot for shot the original movie. That's all it is, but now it's done in live action. Um, but for people who are unfamiliar with Lilo and Stitch, you're gonna love this movie. I think you're gonna really love it. You're gonna really enjoy it. Um, but as someone who this is one of my favorite Disney films, like I said, I just kind of, it was kind of like I was watching the same thing over again, really just redone in live action. So that's why I'm just gonna give this one just a solid recommend. Uh, like if this is the original, like the original for me is like a high recommend, like that's up there. But this one is just kind of, it's between like a solid and a moderate recommend for me, honestly. Like I said, this has been kind of done before. But I'll go ahead and just give it a solid recommend. So that is my review for the live action 2025 Lilo and Stitch movie. What did you think about the 2025 live action Lilo and Stitch movie? Probably liked it better than I did. You probably thought it was one of the best movies. However you feel about it, comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it, and I will see you next review. Peace.